All right, let's talk about something that a lot of people don't say out loud, but almost everyone feels. You worked for decades. You paid into the system. You followed the rules. And now you're sitting there, collecting Social Security, maybe started at 62, and wondering, why does it still feel like I'm barely getting by? And on top of that, you keep hearing advice that sounds completely out of touch. Just delay benefits. Just invest more. Just wait until 70. And you're thinking, wait a minute, that doesn't help me now. Because the truth is, many seniors living on Social Security today are already below or near the poverty line. And when you're in that situation, you don't need theory. You need practical, real-world steps that actually make a difference. So if you started Social Security at 62, this conversation is for you. Because while you can't go back and change that decision, there are still a few very important moves you can make right now that could meaningfully improve your situation going forward. Not overnight miracles, but real improvements. And if you find this helpful, go ahead and subscribe. Not because you have to, but because this kind of clear, honest guidance is exactly what a lot of people wish they had earlier. Now let's walk through this together. Part 1, let's start with something important. There's a lot of regret out there about claiming Social Security at 62. You hear people say, you should have waited. You locked in a lower payment. You made a mistake. And that kind of talk can make you feel like there's nothing you can do now. But that's not entirely true. Because yes, claiming at 62 does reduce your monthly benefit compared to waiting until full retirement age or even 70. For example, someone who might have received around $1,800 at full retirement age may only be receiving around $1,300 to $1,400 if they claimed early. And when you're living on that, every dollar matters. But here's what many people don't realize. There are still adjustments, strategies, and programs that can help you improve your situation, even after you've already started benefits. Let me explain the first move, and this one surprises a lot of people. Move number 1 is understanding how working, even part-time, can still help you. Now I know what you might be thinking. I'm retired. I can't go back to full-time work. And that's completely understandable. But this isn't about full-time work. This is about flexibility. Because if you are under full retirement age, there is an earnings limit. In 2026, that limit is expected to be around $22,000 per year. If you earn more than that, Social Security temporarily withholds some of your benefits. But here's the key part. Those withheld benefits are not lost forever. Once you reach full retirement age, your benefit gets recalculated. You get credit back for those months. This is where many people get confused. They think working means losing benefits permanently. That's not the case. Now, if you're already at or past full retirement age, there is no earnings limit at all. You can earn as much as you want, and your Social Security check keeps coming. And there's another layer here. If your recent earnings are higher than earlier years in your career, Social Security may actually recalculate your benefit and increase your monthly payment. Even if it's a small bump, over time, that adds up. Let me give you a simple example. Linda from Ohio started benefits at 62. She receives about $1,280 per month. She took a part-time job at a local grocery store, earning about $900 a month. That extra income helped cover her groceries and utilities. But after about a year and a half, her Social Security benefit was slightly adjusted upward because those earnings replaced lower earning years from earlier in her life. It wasn't a huge jump, but it was real. And for someone on a tight budget, even an extra $30 or $40 a month matters. Here's what this means for you. If you are physically able, and if it fits your situation, part-time work isn't just about income today. It can also slightly improve your benefit tomorrow. Now let's talk about move number 2. And this one is something many people overlook completely. It's called checking for benefit corrections or recalculations. Because believe it or not, Social Security records are not always perfect. Errors happen. Missing income years, incorrect earnings records, unreported wages. And if those errors exist, your benefit could be lower than it should be. This is where many people never even look. They assume everything is correct. But let me explain why this matters. Your Social Security benefit is based on your highest 35 years of earnings. If even 1 or 2 of those years are recorded incorrectly, it can reduce your monthly payment. And once you're on a fixed income, that's money you never see unless you fix it. Here's a simple scenario. James from Texas reviewed his earnings record after hearing about this. He noticed that one year from the late 1990s showed zero income, even though he had worked that entire year. He gathered his old tax records, submitted a correction, and within a few months, his benefit increased by about $70 per month. Now think about that. That's $840 a year for the rest of his life. This is why it's worth checking. You don't need to guess. You can request your earnings record from Social Security and review it line by line. It may take a little effort, but it can pay off. Now let's move into something that directly connects to what you said earlier. Being tired of hearing advice that doesn't apply to real life. Because the truth is, many seniors today are not just managing money. They're surviving. And that brings us to move number 3. Making sure you're not missing out on additional support programs. Because Social Security alone, for many people, is not enough. Let's be honest about that. Average benefits in 2026 are expected to be somewhere around $1,900 for retirees, but many people receive far less. And when rent, food, and medical costs keep rising, that gap becomes very real. This is where programs like SSI, SNAP, Medicaid, and state-level assistance come in. But here's the problem. A lot of people either don't know they qualify or assume they won't. Let me explain one example. Supplemental Security Income, or SSI. This program is designed for low-income seniors. Even if you already receive Social Security, you may still qualify for a small SSI payment if your total income and assets fall below certain limits. For 2026, the federal SSI benefit is expected to be around $950 per month for individuals, though it varies slightly. Now, not everyone qualifies, but many people never even check. Then there's SNAP, food assistance. Some seniors qualify for $100 to $250 per month in food benefits, depending on income and state rules. That's real help. That's groceries. That's money you don't have to take out of your Social Security check. And then there's Medicare savings programs, which can help pay premiums and reduce out-of-pocket medical costs. This is where things start to add up. You might not get a huge boost from one program, but when you combine a few, it can ease pressure significantly. Here's what this means for you. If your income is tight, don't assume you're out of options. Check what's available in your state, because there's a difference between struggling alone and using the support that's already there. And you earn that support. You paid into the system for years. Now let's keep going. Now, let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention, but can quietly make a big difference over time. Taxes on your Social Security. I know, just hearing the word taxes is frustrating, especially when you've already paid taxes your whole life. But here's what many people don't realize. Depending on your total income, a portion of your Social Security benefits may be taxable, up to 85% in some cases. This is where many people get caught off guard, because it's not just about your Social Security check. It's about your combined income. That includes Social Security, any pension withdrawals from retirement accounts, part-time, work income interest, or dividends once your combined income crosses certain thresholds. You may owe taxes on part of your benefits. Now here's where the opportunity comes in. Move number 4 is managing your income in a way that reduces unnecessary taxation. Let me explain this simply. If you're taking money from a retirement account, like a traditional IRA, that counts as taxable income, and it can push you over the threshold. But if you plan withdrawals carefully, spacing them out, or keeping them within certain limits, you may reduce how much of your Social Security gets taxed. For example, Robert from Florida receives $1,500 per month in Social Security. He also withdraws about $10,000 a year from his IRA. At first, he took larger withdrawals in one year, which pushed his income up and caused more of his Social Security to be taxed. The next year, he adjusted. He spread his withdrawals more evenly and kept his total income just under the higher threshold. Result? Lower tax bill. Same total money, but better timing. This is what smart planning looks like. Not complicated, just intentional. Now let's talk about move number 5. And this one is about protection, because one unexpected expense can throw everything off. Car repair, medical bill, home issue. When you're living on a fixed income, there's no cushion. So the goal here is simple. Build even a small emergency buffer. Now I'm not talking about saving thousands overnight. That's not realistic for many people. But even setting aside $10, $20, $30 a month can slowly build a small safety net. Let me explain why this matters. Without a buffer, any surprise expense forces you to make a hard choice. Do I skip medication, delay a bill, use a credit card? And once debt enters the picture, it becomes even harder. But with even a small emergency fund, you have breathing room. You have options. Here's a real example. Margaret from Arizona started setting aside just $25 a month from her Social Security. It wasn't easy, but after a year, she had about $300. Then her car needed a minor repair. Instead of putting it on a high-interest card, she used her emergency fund. No debt, no stress. That's the difference. Small steps, real impact. Now let's connect all of this back to your situation. If you started Social Security at 62, you might feel like the decision is already made. And in a way it is. But your future is not locked. You still have control over your income strategy, your eligibility for additional support, your tax exposure, your financial safety net. These are the moves that matter now. Let's bring this all together in a simple, clear way. Because at the end of the day, you don't need complicated advice. You need something practical, something real, something that actually helps. If you started Social Security at 62, here are the 5 moves that can still make a difference. First, consider part-time work if possible. Not because you have to, but because even small earnings can help support your budget and potentially increase your benefit over time. Second, check your earnings record. Make sure everything is accurate, because even one missing year could be costing you money every single month. Third, explore additional support programs. SSI, SNAP, Medicare assistance, state programs. These exist for a reason, and many people who qualify never apply. Fourth, be mindful of taxes. Plan your withdrawals and income carefully, so you're not giving more back than necessary. And finally, build even a small emergency buffer, because peace of mind matters just as much as dollars. Now let me say something clearly. You did not fail by claiming at 62. You made the best decision you could with the information and situation you had at the time. And for many people, claiming early was not a choice. It was a necessity. Health issues, job loss, family responsibilities. Life happens. So this is not about regret. This is about moving forward with clarity. Here's what this means for you. Even small adjustments can create real improvements. Not overnight, but over time. And that's what matters. If you're watching this, I'd really like to hear from you. What state are you in? Did you claim Social Security at 62 or later? And what has your experience been like trying to live on your benefits? Because the more we talk about this openly, the more we help each other navigate it. You're not alone in this, and there are still ways to make things a little better from here.